leaders in NCRA that are doing something really special. NCRA, it has a monthly board meeting, and if you're a newcomer to the recycling movement, you may attend and you may gain a lot out of the board meetings, but to make something really accessible and new for folks who are interested in jobs in recycling, Jordan Figueiredo and Jewell have done something that is called the NCRA Jobs workshops. And NCRA has had a long history of being a destination for learning about jobs or meeting, the love of your life. And so this is just the next phase of the NCRA journey. They've held workshops around the Bay Area on many different topics, which they'll tell you about, and there has been just a huge response. There's a lot of interest and need in jobs in recycling, and I really applaud them for taking the initiative. So Jordan and Rebecca.
My name's Rebecca, and I work over at the Davis Street Transfer Station. And it hadn't occurred to me for us to have a dating program, but maybe we'll put that into the 2013 agenda. So if we have our slides, we don't have our slides, well then we'll just kind of shoot it. So the Bay Area, how many out there have been an intern or have worked as an intern or worked with an intern? Oh yes, you look at all these hands, you look. All right, so what this says to us is that NCRA has a lot of agencies that are members or folks who are, we're going to go to the next slide, we have a lot of interns in the Bay Area. Stop Waste has numerous volunteers, and Chabot Space and Science is another example of an agency that has constantly recycling-focused volunteer or interns coming through their programs. And then several of the cities have taken advantage of programs through the federal and Obama's programs to source funding for internship programs. But there is nothing necessarily locally focused specifically around recycling. So the solution presented itself as the possibility of having workshops that are focused specifically on finding work in the recycling industry in the Bay Area. And NCRA seemed like a logical agency to kind of host this meetup. And because obviously we have folks like you, which creates this last one, this high quality Rolodex. You all are in that high quality Rolodex. A loyal membership, and it's obviously locally focused. So it's not, for example, a jobs focus or a jobs board or a jobs conversation that's talking about all of California or the West Coast or whatever. This is focused kind of specifically here in those 9 Bay Area counties. So what we did, we asked the world, what would you be interested in this kind of a workshop, and what kinds of things would be helpful for you in your job search. So we sent it out to, hopefully all of you had a chance to see this survey. We sent it out all over the place looking for opinions. That was a big part of this, is to be driven by what the job seekers felt like they needed, not necessarily to kind of tell them what they should be looking for, though that might come later. And so we were designing the workshops driven specifically by the data and what folks are interested in terms of industry. I think the next one goes through what the next slide goes through. Yes, so the sectors of industry, this was the top 4 areas of interest. The physical location, obviously we were trying to, we wouldn't want to go and have a workshop in a place where nobody physically could get to, and like where there was parking issues or whatever. And so we wanted to keep it clear. It was clear from the survey results that we needed to keep it to public transit, that they should be something like quarterly, and that they should be kind of in San Francisco and the East Bay. So we're kind of driven by BART being a primary form of transportation. Let's see what's next. So we've already done these workshops so far. We had our first one with, go for it. No, it's your turn.
Okay, so yes, so NCRA Jobs workshops, and our first one was in September and featured a panel of Ruth Abbe of HDR Engineering, Kelly Runyon of ESA, and Clay Regal of Cascadia. And the second workshop was on November, sorry. The second workshop was in November and featured a panel of Donnie Oliveira of SF Environment, Timney Hood of EPA Region 9, and Roland Williams of CVCN. That's my boss, so I got him in there, of course. And then the third workshop was in January, and it featured a panel of Roberta Miller of StopWaste.org, Eric Havel of Chabot Space and Science, and Cheryl Nelson Embry of East Bay Regional Park. And the last workshop we had just a few weeks ago featured Rebecca Jewell of Waste Management, that was pretty easy, and then Bob Besso of Recology. And one of the exciting things about this industry that in addition to many staff, current and former staff and interns of many of your organizations, we've also had a lot of college students from local colleges and universities come to these workshops too. Quite a large number too, that have no idea this field exists. And then of course a lot of attendees from outside the industry as well. So for those attendees, we started a Google group entitled NCRA Jobs that we've been posting job and development opportunities since August of last year. And with over 100 members for this public group, we post on average once a day. Okay, so our next workshop is going to be on May 1st. And the panel will be San Francisco Conservation Corps, North Bay, and Civic Corps. And SF Conservation Corps is actually hiring right now. So those of you take note and check our website for the postings. And you've heard it here first. On July 11th, we'll be having our 6th workshop on advocacy jobs. The panel will consist of Sheila Davis, Executive Director of the Silicon Valley Toxics Coalition, Monica Wilson, U.S. and Canada Program Director for Gaia, and Martin Borg, Executive Director of the Ecology Center. So what's next for NCRA Jobs? For those of you who can't make the live version, we're going to film and post future workshops on the web, and we're also going to do a survey to prepare for the next cycle of workshops to start in the fall. Maybe taking, yes. Okay. Okay, so what is NCRA Jobs really about? Well, according to the feedback gathered from post-workshop surveys, attendees like the format and the nice intimate locations. And they're looking forward to more, of course. And then the speakers and content have got very good reception as well. And for most of the people that have attended the workshop, they've also found to be very helpful in the job search. And we get to hear some interesting stories about colleagues. So for you, for example, did you know that Bob Besso had his Facebook page lit up for this post by Elizabeth Roit, author of Garbage Land? Dressed in blue jeans and sneakers, Besso had the lankiness of a marathon runner. Okay, and we also find some helpful tips. For example, Roberta Miller explained from experience that Stop Waste might not appreciate interviewing you via Skype with someone sleeping right behind you. And also, as Rebecca Jewell points out, maybe hotchickbeachbum@yahoo.com isn't the best email address to have on a resume. But we also find out interesting assignments that people receive in this industry, like the interns from SF Environment that went to South Korea, or the Cascadia staff that had the tough assignment of Hawaii. But really, it's more than that. These workshops are filled with great advice and connections made. They're also engaging and filled with the passion of our panel speakers. People like the woman that back in the day worked as an intern for Nancy Skinner to stop the proliferation of styrofoam. And now she's a zero waste legend working for HDR and volunteering for, well, everyone, I think. Really, Ruth, do you sleep at all, Ruth? Okay, or it's also Roberta Miller telling us the impact that a field trip has on students. And then also beaming with pride, she tells us of Ariel Conway, a student who took the tour as a 4th grader over a decade ago, and now she works at Stop Waste, or at Davis Street for Stop Waste. Yeah. But maybe the most important takeaway from the workshops is that there's a ton of sharp, environmentally conscious people out there like Ariel, Sam, and Trevor that get it and want to stay in this industry. And then there's also a lot of people that have no idea this industry exists, and we meet them all at every workshop. So we're saying that we need to do more workshops like this to keep people like Ariel, Sam, and Trevor, and other people to track them as well. So please start a jobs and recycling workshop in a town near you, or encourage people to attend our workshops as well. Thank you. Any questions? Does anybody have any questions? Yes.
How do you guys get the word out about your workshops?
So yes, we have the Google group, and then we've also have an extensive chain of emails that we've gotten through surveys that we've been blasting out. Of course, If any of you belong to the LinkedIn connections of me or Rebecca, you've been blasted with it a million times as well. So hopefully we've been reaching everybody, but we've also been posting on the website too.
You can come and find us at the break and give us your email.
Yes. Any other questions? Nope. Okay. Thank you.
Did Monica make it up from the South Bay? Yay! Okay, so next up is Monica DeVincenzi, and Monica leads the public outreach program for the South Bayside Waste Management Authority.